Hey beautiful, I hope you're doing amazing, staying hydrated and getting enough sleep. Now today, you and Queen Zani are going to dive deep into Augusta, like her full kit, how she plays, the best echoes, team comps, and a lot more. So let's not waste a single second and get straight into it. So Augusta is a 5-star Electro broadblade user, and she's designed to be a heavy attack, focus main DPS. At the core of her gameplay are 3 mechanics you'll constantly be managing: prowess, ascendancy, and majesty. Let's start with prowess. Every time Augusta uses basic attacks, heavy attacks, dodge counters, or even some of her skills, she builds prowess points. Once that meter fills up, her regular heavy attack transforms into special, thunder moves. For example, instead of the usual steel clash, she can do thunder backstep, which then chains into a spinning slash if you keep pressing attack. Or she can launch enemies with thunder uppercut. These moves consume all of her stored prowess, but in return, they hit much harder and give Augusta that signature heavy hitter playstyle. While she's doing all this, she's also naturally building up ascendancy. When ascendancy fills, her resonance skill evolves into a chain combo called Undying Sunlight. This is a 3-part skill sequence: first strike, then leap, and finally plunge. Each input continues the chain, and the finishing plunge not only deals big electro damage, but also rewards her with 1 stack of majesty. And that brings us to the third resource, majesty. Unlike prowess or ascendancy, she can only hold 2 stacks of majesty at a time, but it's the most important one because once she has both stacks, she can unleash her true ultimate form. With 2 stacks of majesty, her resonance liberation changes into Sublime is the Sun, which puts her into the Sworn Allegiance state. Now, when she activates it, time literally freezes for everything except her. You can't switch characters during it, but Augusta alone gets to fight freely, chaining unique attacks called Sunborn that are fast, stylish, and still count as heavy attack damage. She even gets a little extra flair here. In this state, she can walk on water without using stamina after 9 Sunborn strikes, or if you trigger it early. The mode ends with a massive finisher called Everbright Protector, a giant electro slash that clears all her Crown of Wills buffs and leaves a huge impact on the battlefield. Speaking of buffs, Augusta's outro skill is also pretty strong for team play. When you swap to the next resonator, they get a flat 15% damage boost for all elements for 14 seconds. And at the same time, Augusta herself gets a stack of majesty and a stack of Crown of Wills, which directly boosts her electro damage. The crown stacks are an extra mini mechanic that makes her even stronger the longer she fights, especially once her resonance chain unlocks and lets her hold more stacks or get crit buffs. Her passives help round out her kit. She can generate a personal shield every time she deals damage, and if she's out of combat for a few seconds, she'll automatically restore majesty and Crown of Wills, so she always enters the fight ready. So in short, Augusta's entire gameplay loop is about rotating through her 3 resources: build prowess for powerful heavy attacks, build ascendancy for skill combos, and build majesty to access her time-stopping transformation. Now, let's quickly talk about what you should prioritize when upgrading Augusta. The first and most important talent to invest in is her resonance liberation, since it sits at the very core of her kit. This ability unlocks her most powerful damage window through the Sworn Allegiance state, enabling her Sunborn combos and culminating in the devastating Everbright Protector finisher. After that, level her normal attack because she's a heavy attack main DPS, and all her thunder variations scale from this, making it her consistent source of damage outside liberation. Next comes her Forte Circuit, which enhances the Ascendancy chain skills, Undying Sunlight Strike, Leap, Plunge, and her Majesty cycle, both crucial for keeping her flow smooth and maximizing uptime. Finally, her resonance skill should be leveled last since it mainly serves as a trigger for ascendancy and is less important for raw damage scaling. So overall, the priority is resonance liberation, normal attack, Forte Circuit, resonance skill. Now, let's move on to her resonance chain. Augusta's chain has several standout points, but not all of it is equally impactful. Her chain 1 is already insane, giving her up to 2 Crown of Wills stacks that boost crit damage by 15% each. while also granting interruption resistance on her Ascendancy combo. This alone makes her feel much smoother and significantly stronger. Then her Chain 2 cranks it even further by adding a massive 35% crit rate per crown stack, which basically solves her crit investment and lets her go full crit damage on builds. Chain 3 is another huge DPS spike, flat out buffing her heavy attacks, Ascendancy plunge, and even her liberation skills by 25%, meaning all her core damage windows hit harder. From there, the rest are more situational. Chain 4 turns her into a great team buffer by giving the entire squad a 20% attack boost. Chain 5 enhances her survivability with stronger shields, and Chain 6 is her true capstone, doubling her crown of will's capacity and letting her heavy attacks trigger extra Electro slashes for massive personal DPS. So if we're talking must-haves, her kit already feels strong at baseline, but Chain 1, 2, and 3 together are absolutely broken, giving her both consistency and huge damage spikes. Now I think you all know about Augusta already, so let's dive into what really makes her shine, her best team compositions. Augusta's mechanics and playstyle synergize beautifully with characters like Yuno, Mortify, Einlin, Shorekeeper, and Verena, based on how their kits interact. Here are her top recommended teams. The first team puts Augusta as main DPS, supported by Einlin as a sub-DPS and buffer, and Shorekeeper as a healer and support. In this setup, Augusta takes the role of primary damage dealer. She builds up prowess for thunder or heavy attacks, Ascendancy for chaining Undying Sunlight, and Majesty for her time-stop bursts. She stays on the field the longest, cycling resources and ensuring her Electro-heavy attacks remain constant. Einlin, meanwhile, applies punishment marks to deal consistent off-field Electro damage and uses her outro to boost Augusta's output with 20% Electro damage buff and plus 25% Resonance Liberation damage buff. This directly amplifies Augusta's entire kit. As for Shorekeeper, she ensures survivability and consistency by healing through Stellar Realm, while also providing team-wide buffs such as 12.5% crit rate, 25% crit damage, and 15% all-type damage boost. She even contributes a bit of off-field spectro damage. The team rotation is fluid. Einlin applies marks, Shorekeeper sets the field, Augusta bursts, and outro cycling maintains Majesty uptime. The synergy makes this an excellent composition for boss fights, with virtually no risk of elemental mismatch. Moving to the second team, Augusta again takes the role of main DPS, but this time she's paired with Yuno as sub-DPS and healer, alongside Shorekeeper as a support and buffer. Here, Augusta keeps her core playstyle intact, looping prowess heavy attacks, Ascendancy skills, and Majesty bursts, but benefits even more from added stamina management and healing. Yuno steps in with her stance rotations, offering arrow damage, stamina recovery, and reliable healing. Her outro further boosts heavy attacks, while her full moon domain restores stamina and amplifies team damage. Shorekeeper once again rounds things out with crit buffs, healing, and a universal 15% damage boost. In this lineup, Yuno's stamina restoration is a game changer for Augusta's aerial and dodge-reliant playstyle. Combined with Shorekeeper's crit scaling, Augusta can commit to a relentless offense. The elemental synergy isn't as specialized as a pure Electro team, but the balance of sustain, buffs, and versatility makes it a smooth, player-friendly option for those who prefer consistency over raw peak damage. Finally, let's look at a strong F2P-friendly team, Augusta, Mortify, and Verena. In this setup, Mortify amplifies Augusta's heavies directly, while Verena ensures sustain and stacks more buffs. The multiplicative nature of their buffs raises Augusta's damage ceiling substantially, making it a powerful yet accessible option that doesn't rely on rare characters. While it lacks the extra layer of power from Electro Resonance, the combination of survivability, buffs, and heavy attack synergy makes this team an outstanding general-purpose choice. Moving on to Echo sets, Augusta's best option is undoubtedly Crown of Valor. The 3-piece Crown of Valor set is perfect choice because of its shield-triggered attack and crit damage buffs, which aligns seamlessly with Augusta's inherent skill, Glory's Favor. This skill generates a shield every time she deals damage, with just a 0.5-second cooldown on its activation. Since Crown of Valor's effects trigger when a shield is gained, Augusta can reliably stack up to 5 instances of the set's buff during her natural resource-building rotations. This synergy is particularly impactful for her heavy attack focused DPS playstyle. The buffs amplify both her electro damage output and her crit scaling, while also enhancing her resonance chain, which further increases her shield strength by 50%. This makes Crown of Valor procs not only consistent, but also highly valuable, pushing her damage ceiling higher in sustained combat. The optimal setup would be 3 pieces of Crown of Valor combined with 2 pieces of Void Thunder, which grants an additional 10% electro damage bonus. As for the main echo, the False Sovereign is the recommended choice. However, it's worth noting that farming the Crown of Valor set and False Sovereign won't be possible until version 2.6, so players may need to plan ahead for when it becomes available. As for how her echoes should be built, Augusta makes the most of a 4-3-3-1-1 cost combination. In this arrangement, the cost 4 echo should prioritize crit damage or crit rate, depending on what balances her ratio best. The cost 3 echo slot is where electro damage bonus shines most, as it directly amplifies her elemental damage, though attack percent can serve as a reliable fallback option too. For her cost 1 echo, attack percent is the go-to main stat, offering straightforward scaling that enhances all of her abilities. When it comes to substats, Augusta benefits most from crit rate and crit damage, since her kit is heavily crit-oriented, and she even has passives that convert excess crit rate into crit damage, giving these stats exceptional efficiency. Heavy attack damage and attack percent also stand out as highly valuable, as they directly enhance the scaling of her primary combos and rotation. Electro damage bonus provides another layer of raw amplification, while energy regeneration has situational value if you find her burst difficult to maintain at full uptime. By contrast, flat attack and skill damage are minor bonuses at best, making them filler stats rather than priorities. When it comes to her best weapons, Augusta's signature choice, Thunderblaze Eminence, stands far above the rest as her true best in slot. It provides high attack and crit stats, but what makes it shine is how perfectly its passive aligns with her playstyle. Every time she uses skills, her heavy attack damage gets a boost, and each shield proc lets her bypass enemy defense, stacking into a massive bonus. Since Augusta's main source of damage is her heavy attacks, and because she constantly generates shields through her kit, this weapon amplifies her strengths more effectively than anything else available. For players looking at alternatives, Verdant Summit is the strongest non-signature option, offering a powerful heavy attack damage increase alongside solid crit scaling. Lustrous Razor is another viable pick if you want more energy regeneration and consistent liberation uptime, while Ages of Harvest balances crit stats well and brings in additional skill damage buffs for a smoother rotation. Among the 4-star weapons, Helios Cleaver is the best budget-friendly choice thanks to its stacking attack percent buff and general accessibility. If you're looking to patch up crit rate specifically, Autumn Trace can also serve as a reliable option until stronger gear is obtained. As for Augusta's Ascension materials, leveling her requires Luminous Calendula, Blighted Crown of Puppet King, and Tidal Residuum dropped from Echoes in Renacida. To upgrade her forte, you'll need Wave-Worn Residue from the Forgery Challenge, the weekly boss material dropped by Fleur-de-Lis, and even more Tidal Residuum materials from Renacida Echoes. Farming these ahead of her release will ensure you're ready to fully ascend and build her on day 1 without delay. That wraps up everything I've got for now. And if you've stuck with me all the way through to the end, you're a legend.